All right, let's get going with this project. So let's see, the first thing I'm going to do is I want to check this. We'll check this and see. I need to make sure this pinout is correct on this 3.5mm jack. So I'm going to check the different pins and make sure that the electrical ends come. So I have a digital multimeter here. Move this breadboard out of the way to begin with. We'll go to, yeah, DC voltage. Actually, no, we're going to go to ohms. We want to check the resistance. So we're doing a test to kind of just see which pin equals which of these wires. So the first thing I'm going to do, and this is just the first part of what I'm doing. I'm actually, you see that schematic there in the background, that's what I'm building right now, putting that on a breadboard. But this is part of that process. Back here, you'll see kind of the same thing. This is a 3.5mm jack. I'm just trying to check and make sure I've got all three of these pins identified with the wires, and get the wires identified properly so that I can get the breadboard built properly. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the tip here with this. So I got the tip, and then I'm just going to go through each of these wires, and I'm going to wait for the multimeter to indicate which of these wires has continuity. So that one's 0, probably not. That one's nothing. It might actually be the green one on that tip. Let's see. So I get nothing. No reading on that. Guess it might be the green one. Because I'm getting, so for the red, that's not it. So let's actually leave it that way. Let's leave it on the red and then move this clip here down to here, the middle. Looks like the red is the middle, and then the bottom is not, but right up here in the middle we get continuity. So, and then at the tip is not. So the red's going to be the middle, and so then that is going to be a DA. So then the DA, write this over here where you can see it. DA, or middle, is red. Okay. Now we can just do the same thing. Maybe grab the green this time. I'll put leads on these here in a minute too. So got that there. All right, green. And then we'll get this other pin. Now we'll watch for continuity. Here's the end. Looks like the green is the tip. Yep. If you go to the middle, nothing. If you go to the end, nothing. So green then is going to be the DIT. So I'm making a, long story short, I'm making a pressure paddle for Morse code. So DA, and this is going to be DIT, and that's end, like the tip, TIP, and that's green. And so that means that the ground, GRD, is going to be the end, bottom, the bottom, and that's going to be, what color's left here? Black. And let's just double check that, just to be sure. It's pretty obvious, but I like to, just to be sure, I like to check things out. So again, we'll go with black. We'll grab that with this hook, and then we'll try this, the tip, and see what happens to the multimeter. Nothing. We'll go here to the middle, See what happens? Nothing. But there on the end here, the base, we're getting continuity. So that means, so it's correct. So I've got this all taken care of now. Let's move the multimeter out of the way. And our next thing, I'm gonna have to add some leads to these because I have a breadboard here. Let me move this paper out of the way. And this is the project. I started this a couple days ago and got about halfway, and then I had to go. So what I have here is half of the breadboard built already, and that is this top half of the schematic. I have the components here for the other half, the other pressure paddle right here, and then I have a transistor and a resistor. They'll go here, but the main thing is I got to connect this 3.5 millimeter jack into the breadboard, and these wires are really too small to do that, so I'm going to add leads to all of them. And if I can get that straight, looks like that was already attempted or something, but I'll probably strip these wires out just a little bit more, and then we'll go with it. So let me see here. Maybe even trim it. Gotta shave a little bit of the outer jacket off first, and that'll give us more room to work with on these lines. And then, because I'm going to cut this green one, looks like I may have attempted to solder it before because it's not straight, so I'm gonna have to clip that off. I'm just gonna clip them all off here right now. And so now they'll all have to be stripped again, and then I'll find some wire to add to them. So I think this will strip them. I'm not sure. Those seem pretty small. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I have. That's not gonna work. I'm not sure how I'm gonna strip these. I might have to get a different. Try this one more time. Maybe if I go like that. That did it, I think. I have to kind of turn it at an angle. I'm not sure I got all of the... hope it doesn't... Ugh, I took out too much of the metal on that one, too many of the wires, but it might still work. And then the last one here. All right. So, there we go. Fingernail and thumb. Yeah, but that's true. Maybe for for that small of a gauge of wire, fingernail and thumb just might be what you need. What would make it work? Right, here they are. So now I'm gonna, I guess the next step, I'm gonna set this out here for just a minute. Now I have this wad of wire. I need to cut what, three leads. So I'll just use these. Here's one. Well, that's far, didn't it? And I'll do a second one here. I'm not even going to bother with making them different color because it's just like I said, a breadboard practice. So there's 3. Move this out of the way again. Now we are going to strip both sides. So we'll do all of them that way where they are bare on both sides. Let me just do that real quick. Then after that, we'll solder those to the, if we can. It's going to be kind of a challenge, but we'll try to solder these to the ends. Then we'll be able to put them in the breadboard. That's kind of otherwise it's just too hard to work with. I should be able to find a different 3.5 millimeter jack that has bigger wires. Probably one lying around here somewhere, but I don't know. I got it made. I'm already halfway there anyway, so. Okay, so we'll do that. So the next thing I'm going to do is, I'm not going to use the grabbers because it's just displaying this schematic that I'm working on. I'm just going to put it right here on this wood and solder it here. If I can make it work. I'm actually going to tilt this a little bit so I'll give you guys a better view. And a little bit more. Now, let's see. I know I have some solder around here somewhere. Let's go with let's try the red wire first, see if we can get that one to solder. Man, getting it to lay flat is pain, but I think that should work. I guess we'll see. Hey, it's Alpha Alpha 0Z, Kyle. How you doing, buddy? I'm just trying to do some soldering here using a wooden block, but it's working. That's the first one. So there we go. So what I'm doing, Kyle, is I'm just, these wires are too small to fit in the breadboard, so I'm just adding some leads to it. And I didn't do a very good job of stripping the wires, but I don't really care because, you know, it's not the end product. It's just for later on, though, I will need to do get a better solution. Hopefully they'll just solder right to the PVC board that I'm going to be using. Let me see if I can get this to lay flat. Is it going to or not? I might have to use those hand grabbers after all. Ah, there we go. Just tip it over this way. Lay this here. Come on, lay flat. All right, there's got to be some solder around here. There it is. I'm out of the video. I keep bumping this camera. Dang it. Okay, I need to get more solder here. I probably should turn on the fan too. It might be too noisy for you guys, but I don't want to breathe in the fumes. So, okay. Come on. I think that worked. Yep. All right, one more to go. Making a refrigerator. Kyle, I'm making I think I explained it, I'm making a pressure paddle. So it performs based on the pressure you put onto it instead of a touch paddle. It's a little different than what Adam does. He does a touch paddle, which basically is, you know, just basically goes based off of whether or not you make contact. Well, the one I'm doing is actually based on the pressure you apply. I'll show you here in just a sec. I think that worked. Sloppy, but it worked. Yep. Okay, so I'll just be careful not to make sure these... okay, so let's get this back out of the way. We'll tip it back up here. Okay, so Kyle, there's a schematic right there. And basically I'm breadboarding it right now to make sure that we get... turn that fan off. Make sure that I can get it to work outside of the enclosure I'm going to use for it. And so here's the little gizmos. This is a pressure... It causes conductivity based on pressure, not based on contact. And so I think there's even something to do with how much pressure you apply. There's a difference in how the dits and DAWs are sent. But anyway, I'm breadboarding this out, and it will be a Homebrew Morse code paddle where it's a pressure paddle. So anyway, so I've built half of it out already. This is the top half. It's pretty simple. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish it out and build the bottom half. But I just wanted to make sure. So the DAW is the tip here, it says. And I already, just a little bit earlier, I used the DMM and did continuity and made sure that the tip, what wire goes with what, and I wrote it down right here. So basically the dit is the tip and is green. So I'm going to then take this right here, the middle wire right here is green. So that is the tip, and that is going to be the dit. And so the dit is what I'll plug right into here, and it'll go into. So there's this transistor here. You'll see that the middle middle one it goes on line 15, and then the one on the left goes through on rail 16, and then the one on the right goes on rail 17, and that rail 17 goes to ground. You can see right here, it goes from 17 over to ground. So this green one is going to go into 16, because that's where it belongs, based on the schematic. Come on, get in there. All right. Okay, so we're good there. So we've got the green one going into rail 16. And next, we're going to build out the rest of this now. So, oh yeah, I gotta add some more leads for this. I found that this doesn't plug in very well either. So more soldering. Let me turn the fan back on, move this stuff out of the way, and we'll get a couple more leads. And where is all of my, here's this. So we'll cut 2 more leads and strip them down. And then actually, guys, you guys who are watching, it's 11:40 right now. Wherever I'm at, I'm gonna end this at 12 o'clock, and I'm gonna participate in the CWT, which is a really fast speed Morse code contest. I'm not that great at it, but I can get maybe, I don't know, somewhere between 10 and 20 contacts every time I participate. And I just chase, I don't really call CQ. But that's what I'll be doing. I'll keep this live and running, but we'll just shift gears and we'll be going from some electronics kind of stuff to more of like running ham radio and doing Morse code. Okay, so I've got these stripped. Let me bring this wooden thing back over here. Let me tilt this down again. All right. Yeah, I know this is kind of unconventional with this wood and stuff, but you know what? It's all right. It works for me. Because again, you know, we're just playing around. It's not like it's not like we're working for Motorola or something. Oh, try that again. I don't think that worked. I'll have to try that one again. Oh, actually it did. It caught. We got it. All right. You have to be careful on the next one, though. Make sure that it's on the other side. Okay, here we go. I think that worked. You can just after you use soldering for a while, you just kind of can tell if it's going to work or not. All right, there we are. Okay, tipping it down a little bit more. Let's get that breadboard over here. All right, so we're going to do, so the schematic says, let me bring that closer. So I just finished this, so the DAW is going to be, let's just go with this again. So we have VCC to the sensor, through the sensor, and then in. So I'm going to connect this to VCC on rail 25. And that'll be just like I did to the other. Okay, so I've got VCC coming in, that red rail right there, VCC in to through the touchpad or the pressure pad, and then into rail 25. So that's the first thing I'm going to do, and I'm just going to bend that over. Now, we need this 1 mega ohm resistor to go from the opposite side of where it's connected to VCC, which is in the rail 25, and we're going to take that resistor and put it in there in rail 25, so it makes the connection. Okay, and then the other end of that goes to ground actually. So, and I did that over here the same way, but I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to get it on the end of rail 25 and over here. All right, we're good with that resistor now. I could probably trim those, but again, it's just practice. We're just going to pull them back out eventually anyway. Okay, So from VCC into rail 25 out to ground. VCC in, out to ground. Okay, now we need the diode. I keep calling it a diode. It's a transistor. And this transistor, you can see there's a flat side to it. That flat side is the front. And so there are 3 pins here. So the pin out of this, I printed it out here. And so what it is you've got pin 1. So you got to make sure that the flat side is facing you. And then so pin 1 is on the far left. And it's called the drain. The middle one is the gate, pin 2. And the source is pin 3. So just kind of go left to right. And this is kind of what it looks like. And this you can see is pretty much identical to over here. So pin 2 is what we're interested in. Pin 2 goes, so pin 2 is the gate, and the gate actually goes to the other end, and that's the middle one. Pin 2 is the middle one. So in essence, what I'm saying is we'll take this transistor and we'll pull out the middle pin here, and that middle pin is going to go on rail 25 also. And then we'll put the other 2 pins on 26 and 27. So let me do that, and then I'll show you what I'm talking about. Get in there. Okay. So if you can see now, you see that that middle pin went into 25, and then you can see over here kind of that 26 is the pin that goes to pin 3, and that's rail 26, and then the far left, I think that's how I did it last time, or is it? Let's see. No, I did it opposite last time. Let me do that again. So it needs to go a little bit opposite of what I did. We'll go pin 1 in 25, pin 2 in 26, and pin 3 in 27. That's how we'll make it work. If I can get this lined up right. I know that might sound confusing to you guys, but I get it, so. I think that's right. Okay, so again, we got that kind of a mess, but let me see if I can push that down a little bit. All right, so let me pull this back out and straighten it. Gosh dang it. Breadboards. 2 and 3. Okay, let me get that one more time. Pin 2 goes into rail 25, pin 1 into rail 26, and pin 3 into rail 27. And let's give it a... I think I got it. It's a mess, but I think I got it. Okay, so you got... that's going to touch the other end. Amateurish. Let me take my pliers out and straighten these leads and get it again. One last time here. All right. All right, I got it. Kind of got it straight, but that middle one really got jacked up. Let me see if I can straighten it. All right, so again, here we are. It's the front, so the middle one, and then 2. So I'm gonna try to get this middle one to kind of come behind, and then that one there, and then that one there. Okay, so it's kind of spread out now. All right, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'm gonna start with 1, 2, pin 1 and 2. And then I'll get to your questions or comments if you have any. There we go. Yay! He can do it. He can do it. Oh, Jeremy, dude, you sent in October. Thank you so much. It's awesome. Thank you. I think that's the first gift I've ever got. So congratulations on that for you and me. Okay, so look, here we go. You can see the middle one now. The middle pin, you can kind of see that, is, yeah, there. You can kind of see that the middle pin goes into rail 25, and then the left pin is into rail 26, and then the right pin is into 27. So in essence, rail 25 is going to be the pin 1, pin 2. So it goes pin 2, pin 1, pin 3. So at least I can understand it. I know what I'm saying, but all right. So then the last thing we're going to do here is we're going to connect the DAW. And remember, I got that figured out before. So the DAW is going to be the red. So the red here on this 3.5 millimeter jack is right there. So that's going to go into rail. So you can see here, DAW goes into the D, which is the drain, which is pin 1, D, pin 1. So pin 1 was rail 26. So that goes right here. All right, and then the last thing is ground. So this will go into ground, and I think we're done building. All right, so you can see let me see if I can grab this. So the cable, you got the green one going into the drain of the transistor on the left, which is rail 16. And then you have the red one going into the drain of, which is rail 26. So, and then that black one is just going right over here to ground. So I think I built this schematic out on this pin correctly. Now, I guess the last thing is we got to make sure we apply power. I have this, I did earlier on an earlier stream. So I'm gonna do a voltage test on that real quick. I'm gonna scoot this back and scoot this up so I can get the DMM in here. We want to make sure we get a voltage test on this battery. So V, we're gonna do direct current. Okay, grab these. It should be, I think, about 2.5 volts. So we get nothing, but I think there's this on-off switch right here. So if I turn that on, yeah. So we're getting 3 volts through this battery. All right, so we're gonna apply that, and then we're gonna see if it'll work. We're ready for the experiment. I didn't think I'd ever get there this close, but here we go. All right, so let me apply that then. Oh, I've got to turn the fan off. You guys are probably annoyed as heck with me. Get that fan off. I can't hear anything. Turn my... So this plug is going to go into a keyer. I'm not going to plug it into my radio, but first things first. Let's go ahead and put this into... I wonder which way is... Let's see, this is positive. So I'm going to put this right here into the positive rail. And then that says that's negative. That's going to go into the negative rail. And there's no magic smoke, so that's good. So we have power. I'm going to just turn these things around and try to use them like this, just kind of free form for now. They'll eventually attach to an enclosure, but let's grab this. Some of you may have seen this before. This is I use this a lot for the keyer. It's the CW hotline. There's some cool stuff about it, but for now, we'll just plug it in to, if I can figure out where it goes. Yeah, right here. And then we'll plug the CW paddle into it. Oops. So, okay, so that's plugged in. Next, we're going to plug that into the the key or paddle, which is right here. Now, let's see if we get anything. We may or may not, but... Oh, nothing here, but we got here. We got the dits, and that's correct. So I've got some sort of some sort of problem here with the DAW. So let's figure that out. Let's unplug the power for a minute, and we'll unplug this CW hotline and get that moved out of the way. We need to troubleshoot. There's probably some sort of connection problem. So let's go through it just step by step and see what we've got going on here. Okay, so schematic says, let's move this back up here, move it a little closer. Schematic says that we want to go from VCC, and that means from the positive to the sensor, from the sensor to the middle pin, which is G, the gate. And so, if I'm looking here, I'm going positive to, is that the middle gate? It is. So far so good. Oh, wait a minute, let's see. I think, yeah, that's right. And then the resistor right here goes to ground. So let's see, in. So root there. Is it possible that I ruined the transistor, or that it's touching? It doesn't appear to be touching. Let me try to move it a little bit just to be sure. All right. I'm totally destroying that transistor. There we go. It is in. That one might be in too far. All right, so we've got, all right, so into the middle pin, and then it comes out of the middle pin and goes to red. So the gate, which is, yep, and then we have the red lead going into the D, which is the drain, which is number 1. Oh, that's the problem. We gotta go, is that right? Drain is pin 1. That can't be right. Oh, wait, that's not the right. Okay, so yeah, so we've got to put S, so the S is, pin 3 actually goes to ground. I got this mixed up. Pin 3 goes to ground. Yep, I can see the problem. So pin 3 is, so we don't have it. Oh, that's what it is. Pin 3, we don't have to connect it to ground. That's the only problem, it looks like. So I need to get another wire, and I have one right over here. The blue ones work best. So I'll grab a blue wire here. And that's the one step I missed, was I didn't connect the drain, the what's it called, the source pin 3 to ground. So that's this piece right here. We'll do that trick. Let me bend it down here, show you. So that's gonna go right kind of underneath that resistor. All right, I think we got it now. Let's try it again. Let's fire it up and see if it works this time. Again, we'll get the CW hotline, which has a nice keyer in it. Turn that on. We'll plug in. All right, here we go. Moment of truth. No. No, nothing. Oh, power. That would help. Okay, so let's see. Plus, we'll go on to this rail here, the plus rail. And then negative over here. Here we go. Yeah, we did it. So it's a... Oops. Here we go. Hey, success. All right, so we got it breadboarded. Now, on our next adventure, we will be putting it in the enclosure. Yep, it works. It works, Kyle. So let me pull this out of the way a little bit and pull this in. So our next little bit, I'm going to scoot this over, show you. So here's the enclosure, and I'm going to try to fit all of that in here, and it should work. It should fit in here in this enclosure. What I've got to do is I've got to get a board. I have one, but just get a board, and the next step when I come back live again for this is going to be to get that board soldered and put into here. So anyway, it's 12 o'clock, guys, so guess what I'm doing? I am moving on over to the CWT. I'm going to be doing that now. So let's turn the light off here. Everything's turned off. Unplug the power. We've got the power unplugged here. Got the power unplugged here. I'm just going to leave this as is. So with that, I am just going to end my live. So bye-bye, everybody.